What's up, co-reporters, and welcome back to my channel. We're about to watch some highlights from last night's Coffee Convos episode where Kail sat down with her co-host Lindsie with a few cameos from Kristen and Becky to talk about a very shocking moment in Coffee Convos history in which Kail was very rude to Lindsie, made Lindsie cry, and how the two of them have threatened to quit their podcast, lawyered up, and just about pulled the plug on the thing several times before coming back together, in addition to the fallout of the Baby Mama's No Drama podcast. So again, this is just a highlight of some of that stuff in my commentary. If you'd like the full video and you're able to, please consider supporting my channel by becoming a paid subscriber, aka a channel member, where the full stream is going to live, in addition to several other exclusive videos. For example, just yesterday, we finished reading Amber's So You're Crazy Too autobiography. Next week, we're going to start Kail's Pride Over Pity, and so on and so forth. Now, without further ado, let's get into the Coffee Convos episode.
We're going to get right into it. People want to hear the true dynamic behind us, and are we actual friends or business partners only?
Oh, okay. First of all, I just want to say that I also read comments about my engagement ring.
So that is obviously kind of like a nod to something that Kail said in her final Baby Mama's episode with Vee Rivera. Kail, out of the blue, decided to just randomly blurt out that she and Vee were never really friends anyway, which was a shock to the listeners because they always portrayed themselves as, enemies turn friends, in the whole co-parenting, co-baby mama sort of like game, in that they share one baby daddy who is Joe Rivera. Vee is the stepmom to Kail's first son, etc. They were giving people advice on how to become friendly or friends with, the stepmom, this, that, and the other. So yeah, for her to just randomly say that was rather shocking. And Lindsie's being a little bit shady by bringing that up. But Kail's going to get into what went down with her engagement ring and why she's no longer wearing it before we get into more of that mess with Vee Rivera, okay?
The stones fell out on the band. One stone fell out and then it was replaced, and then two stones fell out. Ew.
Was it cubic zirconia?
It better not have been.
I'll be pissed.
I'll be pissed. No, so I think we're just going to do a whole new one because at this point it's like it's time. So yeah, we're just going to do a whole new one. That one, I don't know what company it came from. Like, he did it on his own. So don't love that, but
it is a little bit interesting or concerning that the engagement ring he gave her is already broken and she doesn't even wear it all that often, and it's only been a couple of months since she got it. So they were smart to scrap it and just go ahead with a different company, do a whole new ring. But it makes me wonder what type of ring it was that Elijah had bought her in the first place. Listen, the Walmart ring that Gary proposed to Amber with, stones never fell out of that one. I'm pretty sure that it is still alive and kicking it somewhere. Someone needs to take it and put it in a museum, by the way.
Anyways, moving on from that, are we real friends or are we business partners? I would like to describe our relationship as
siblings.
Okay. I would like to describe our relationship as siblings. Whenever we have fought over the years, we've been so direct about it, and we've never, obviously everyone talks their shit and we share an assistant. So she's going to hear stuff from both sides, but you and I have always been pretty direct on our feelings about each other. And then we've gone through periods where we're closer than others, where we fight, where we're more business partners, but we're actually friends.
I think people don't really realize that just because we
are so different.
Well, we basically went into business with each other, not even knowing each other.
That's my favorite story to tell.
I know.
They're like, how did you meet Lindsie Chrisley? And I'm like, I don't know. I signed a contract before I ever met her in person.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And I met Javi before I met you.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think people know that either.
Yeah. He was here on that book that he wrote or something. Did he even write a book? Did I make
the story behind that book is an actual shit show, and I'm actually working on getting the rights back because it started as a book that was between the two of us. It was going to be a situation where Javi and I wrote a book where you start the book and it's my side. It was going to be called His Side, Her Side, and the Truth. It was going to be my version of our divorce, and then you flip it over and it starts his side of the novel that is his side of the divorce, and then in the middle they sort of overlap. That was the whole idea behind that book.
Okay, I don't care. Let's keep it moving.
Honestly, we're probably more friends than business partners at this point, but also business partners.
I think the last 18 months we've gotten closer than we've ever been.
Yeah.
But I also think it's just because we have done work as individuals, and we were going through a lot of individual life things.
Do you want me to tell you a time that Kail made me cry?
Here we go.
In a good way or a bad way?
If I cry, it's always bad. It's bad.
And now listen closely, you guys, because Lindsie is going to reveal a moment that shows you what type of person Kail can be behind the scenes when it comes to working together with her on podcasts. Okay. And Kail is going to recognize, because Kail wasn't expecting this. Kail is, right now at this moment, she's panicking. She doesn't know what Lindsay's going to talk about, right? Which moment, because I'm sure there have been multiple. And then after Lindsie tells the story, Kail is going to sob and cry like she is just such a changed woman. Never, can't believe she'd ever do that. And it is just the most ridiculous performative thing ever. Okay, take a listen.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so one time we were in this group chat and it was with Kristen. And I was like trying to get clarification on like what the fuck was going on and scheduling and stuff. And nobody knew. Was this when she was pregnant with the twins?
Wait, you know about this?
You were she was in the fucking group chat. I cried for a whole day.
What could I have said?
Wasn't it? I was trying to figure out scheduling. I believe so. Yeah, I was trying to figure out scheduling for recordings. And like, I was being so nice about it. Like, I want to kind of go back and find the messages.
Please don't.
And please, I'm going to blame it on pregnancy hormones. Or maybe Kail was just like very spicy that day. But she was like, well, you're not in charge of my ovaries. I lost it. Like, I called Kristen bawling.
Why would I say that?
I don't know.
Kristen, I need context. No, I need context. No, because I'm not going, I need context.
It's not talking about the ovaries. Like, what the ovaries was the uterus. Like,
why would
I think it was uterus. You did say that to me.
Why?
That was a very sister thing to say, though.
Give her a mic. Give her a mic.
oh, fine. Let's see.
I am absolutely mortified at my own behavior. This doesn't make either one of us looks good, does it?
How much context did you like?
I mean, if we're going to tell the story in full fucking transparency, for the love of fucking God, just do it.
Not Kristen, like, pulling up the actual... See, this is why we need her, for the facts.
I actually love when we have a producer on the podcast because I love when they give us tidbits of information in the chat and or, like, yeah, I love it.
That we don't know.
Correct.
Because neither of us know anything we're talking about.
100%. No, because the fact that you still have the text message and the twins are a year old, and I said it during pregnancy, means that it's at least 18 months old, which is absolutely terrifying.
It was, and I quote, October 15th, 2023.
So it's 1 year old, and you still have the text.
I don't delete anything. Kail's like, now I'm terrified.
Okay, so when she goes to sleep tonight, me, you, and Becky are stealing her devices, and we're deleting everything off.
No, we're destroying them.
Yeah. I'll run it over in my Bronco.
Throw in a fucking river.
You put it in front of the Bronco, and I'll run it over.
No, because the information that's probably on that phone.
I know.
Here's
would
the
ruin
problem.
us.
It's also information y'all need. So that would not be good for you.
I wonder what they're saying, that they're
I'll take
so
the chance.
scared.
I'll take the chance. I will absolutely take the chance.
Okay.
Here we go.
Way back when we had the Kitty Gang Telegram chat,
Kitty gang, kitty gang, kitty gang, kitty gang.
that was truly a disaster from the start. Both times
Shout out.
we tried to do it.
Shout out to all the soldiers that were in there, that were tried and true. They are Coffee Convos kitties. Like, we love you.
1000%. Okay.
We're taking it way back. Like, we are walking down, talk about memory lane that we just did on Barely Famous. Like, we're going back a whole year.
Yes, we are. October 15th of 2023. Kail sends a text at 8:53 a.m., which she loves that time. And sometimes earlier. Hey, everyone. I know it's Sunday and no one is working, but I just want y'all both to know I'm done with Telegram. I will not be using it anymore. I will be letting them know shortly. Message was sent and I removed the app from my phone.
I said this?
Yes.
I want to tell you guys about something that I am.
So that is the message that Kail had sent. She and Lindsie are in business together, meaning that they are both equal partners in the Coffee Convos podcast. In fact, it was Lindsie's idea. Listen, I think I put too much gel in my hair. It was Lindsie's idea to come up with Coffee Convos podcast in the first place. Like, Kail didn't believe in podcasts. She wasn't really a podcast listener or anything like that. Lindsie comes to her with this idea. It becomes a success. And then all of a sudden, Kail comes, she says, hey guys, I don't want to do the Telegram anymore. I'm shutting it down and I'm letting our listeners, viewers, or whatever know. And obviously, Lindsie is upset by this because she knows that the audience is going to be upset by this. They pay to be members of this Telegram community. They expected for this community to continue running, and it was still rather new at that point. And given that this was a business decision, it was something that should have been discussed as business partners and made together, not like a decision that Kail makes unilaterally. And so she crafts a very thoughtful response, and then Kail just takes it up a notch per usual.
And see the difference if you Where on the market support our show.
We're just going to skip the ads.
Best advice while chasing those dreams. What are you pushing for? We go any further. Before I started, because we are amplifying your story at Walmart.com/Black and Unlimited. It's your journey, and we're proud to be a part of it. Kail said this, but let me pause you there before we go any further, because there were regular trolls that were in the Telegram, which is what caused the Telegram to get shut down. My ex-husband being one.
Also, just to like further just talk about the Telegram really quick, was like it was sort of before I started Patreon. It was a way to build further on the Coffee Convos community and give exclusive information, not information, but just like exclusive content, be more interactive in real time with people who support us in a real way. And the trolls really took that that safety and like comfort, and like I get it, like we're in this weird parasocial relationship with our listeners, but like I loved being in Telegram. Like I loved having that constant connection to our listeners, and the trolls really, really stole like the happiness and joy of being able to do that. So I just want to say that.
I'd also like to note the fact that these trolls paid to be in said chat, including your ex-husband. And I never refunded him. I did not refund him.
Oh, he regularly tells me that we never refunded him.
I can't believe he was in there.
It's called the game I like to play, fuck around and find out. You paid $4.99 and you passed go for 5 minutes, and then you got caught, and then you did not get your money back.
Wait, y'all actually caught him?
I caught him using his PayPal.
It's not speculation?
No, this is 100% confirmed, not alleged.
Yes, with his email. With his own fucking email.
Willard, we need to have a talk.
So, I said, my phone was just blown up about this, and people are getting extremely nasty in there. I just turned permissions to not allow any of them to send in messages for the time being until it gets figured out. Kail, valid, said, I can't give exclusive shit that they want/pay for. It gets leaked. Valid. I said, figured out amongst you and Lindsie and a direction given to me. For the time being, I've disallowed posting in there due to it getting nasty. Lindsie comes in with a novel.
Oh, yeah.
Please read it.
Oh, wow. It's a big novel.
Mm-hmm. Anytime I have to do multiple thumbs, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
October 16th, 2023. Not the day later, 9:55 a.m. Good morning. Sorry for the delay in response. I've not been home since Thursday afternoon due to caretaking for someone's surgery. Regarding the Telegram chat, it seems as if a decision on that was made without me, and there's not much I can do about that. I will be forthcoming and let y'all know that I'm not happy about it. If it needs to be canceled, cancel it, but just know that's a financial decision that needed to be discussed. I also want everyone to be aware that we will have blowback on that for a while, because those are the most dedicated listeners. I've shifted schedules since summer and been willing to bank and take on episodes alone for Coffee Convos. I'm very stressed, and this business needs to go back to normal at the start of the year. I've had very little to no time to work on other things with this scheduling and have pushed other obligations aside. I'm not saying this to complain, but to simply give perspective that come January 1, we cannot continue having the same issues. I need to know what the plan is for this before 5 today. Lindsie loves a deadline.
Oh, I always say before 5.
And don't want to deal with any more chaos regarding this stuff. Please respond and let me know when you can. Please do not take this message as hostile, because it's absolutely not. Miss Lowry comes in.
Okay, so that was Lindsie's very measured, very rational, very normal and business-minded response. She was just saying, listen, this was something we should have discussed together. I need to be clear on the XYZ. Please let me know by this time. And then she also assures everybody in the group chat, because it wasn't just her and Kail speaking, right? It was everybody involved in their business. She says, okay, and I also want you guys to know that this is not me being hostile. This is me just being blindsided by information and trying to get some clarity, okay? And so at this point, Kail is going to respond in a, I don't want to put words or whatever. I will just play Kail's response and let you guys come to your own conclusion.
With a solid goodbye. I would leave this reply right where it's at, but it won't let me leave the group. That's the most self-centered response I've ever heard.
Wow.
Which it wasn't.
Where did that come from?
This was Kail pregnant, y'all. This was what we dealt with for an entire pregnancy.
Was this right before you gave birth last year?
Yeah, it was.
What was the date? October 16th.
Yeah.
It was the week before I gave birth.
Yeah, you were pretty bitchy then.
So she confirms the twins' birthday.
I'm totally mortified by my own
Late
behavior.
October.
Okay, so then Lindsie says, I'm sorry that you feel that way, as that was not the intention at all, nor am I upset. I just want a resolution. You said, I am upset. You do nothing outside of recordings. You have your schedule boundaries, and I created a boundary for myself with this, and you made it about you. You sent a screenshot.
So Kail literally tells her co-host, the one who created this podcasting empire for her, the one without whom she would not be podcasting and replacing her teen mom salary. She says, no, I don't like that you need clarity. You're making it all about yourself. You don't even do anything outside of recording these little episodes. Where did that come from? They keep saying that it's because she's pregnant. Guys, let me know. Is that a good excuse for this? Yes or no? Listen, I am team don't knock me up. So I wouldn't know, but like it just seems like so aggressive for no reason to such a well communicated, thoughtful message from someone who was blindsided by her. Like why would she take it there and accuse this woman of not doing anything? Because Lindsie helps out with the social media, just like Kail helps out with the social media. And she also engages the community online. Like she was engaging them in the Telegram. She does engage them in their private Facebook group. She's also got another podcast, just like Kail's got other podcasts. Like it just feels so weird to throw her work ethic into play just because she was upset that you made a unilateral decision for you guys' businesses without consulting her.
What those messages in there have been paused for now, and until you respond / decide if you're still doing it. Make it work for yourself. No one is stopping you. You chose to take episodes alone, and then you want to make this about stressful recordings and weeks. But we had a time frame. We knew this. Sorry, my uterus isn't on your time.
Wow. That part of it was fair. Everything else was rude.
I just feel like there could have been a better way that we could have handled that situation. And I honestly, did I not call you?
Well, you sent this message first and then called me hysterically.
Here's what I see wrong with the scenario was that I made a decision for myself that like very much affected like it was a business decision, like you said, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not doing this, which then affects your ability to whatever. And so we could not move forward in a joint anything because I was making solo decisions. That's problem number one.
But can we also clarify, stop there for a second and talk about how your dynamic, all of you, it's just everybody that's podcasting and talks about their life. Your life is the business.
Yes.
The business is involved in the life. So when you're trying to create balance in your own personal life and it's affecting the business, that's not something that any of you ever accounted for. Like
no, but I don't think
none of us did.
The audience can't understand it. So it will be hard when they listen to this for them to understand or even put themselves in those shoes. Because I don't think that's the idea. I don't think that's the dynamic for a lot of people. Like Becky works a corporate job. She's not talking about her personal life over there, right? Like as part of the business. You and I do that on Coffee Convos. Baby Mamas was doing that. Now Karma and Chaos will be doing that. Barely Famous in some capacity does that. And so I think that is a huge part of all of this is like, you said it's a financial decision, which it is, but it also, I mean, there's layers to it.
It was a personal decision for you because you were tired of your shit being leaked.
It's like, I want to build this community for Coffee Convos listeners, but the trolls are ruining it. But then me putting up that boundary is also a financial loss for us. And it also will put a strain on the relationship or parasocial relationship with the listeners. So, but what I was saying was the problem I'm seeing within my own behavior was like, I didn't even have a conversation about it. It was just like, I'm ending it. So I say all that to say, that is the same thing that I did over at Baby Mamas when I said, I am taking a hiatus from Baby Mamas. And then I was answered with, I'm not continuing without you, period, point blank. The only decision was to end the podcast. So I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if that's a pattern. I don't know if that's a boundary or if that like sort of teeters the line between boundary and like problematic.
My suggestion would be, and it's hard because again, it's personal, it's your life. We're supposed to be able to make personal decisions when we want to, how we want to, and execute them accordingly. We shouldn't have to ask other people when it comes to our personal boundaries. But when your personal stuff is business, you have noticed, you've said it yourself, you don't usually take like a breath. You don't pause.
I don't breathe. I don't think. I overthink the wrong times.
You're always in react. You're always in response. I have to respond. I have to react. I have to do all this stuff. I think a lot of that's trauma. Like just that's how your life's been since you got on TV.
No, it was before that. I mean, it was my whole life.
Yes, but like especially in this world, like take the entertainment world, you get shit at every angle.
I just think a year later, reading that out loud is actually like, I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry because I don't give a fuck now.
Well, I do.
She cried. I don't care, but I did cry for a whole day.
Never
I think it because I remember where I was when I said that. Like now that I have context, and I think that I just felt like I don't know why I'm crying. It's not that deep.
I'm gonna cry. Don't cry. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, please don't.
Listen, I know why she's crying. It's because she was blindsided by this. They were just supposed to answer the shady question meant to shade Vee, which is like, okay, Kail said on her podcast, the Baby Mamas, that she and Vee were never really friends. So what about you and I? Are we really friends? And the answer is, yeah, you and I are really friends, unlike me and Vee. So they were supposed to kiki and make Vee look bad. But then Lindsie flipped the script and said, let's talk about the time you made me cry because you were such an asshole over a business decision. And I tried to approach her really kindly. I told you and everyone in the group chat that this was not being hostile. This was me just being confused and wanting clarity. And then you came back and doubled down and attacked me even further. So Kail is realizing, oh crap. So here I am falling out with another, friend slash someone who's a part of my family, which is Vee. They are family members. Their kids are siblings, right? Or half siblings or whatever. Step siblings, half, I don't know. Half siblings, right? And where's it step sibling? Y'all, I'm so bad at these family trees, these modern family trees. Please forgive me. I have a small nuclear family, so I'm so bad at this. And I didn't grow up with extended family to know all this stuff. So anyway, they were supposed to be keying about how the two of them are friends, unlike Kail and Vee, right? And then this comes out, and now she looks bad because she was playing the victim in her thing with Vee. Oh, like, you know, it was just differences of this, differences of that. We're not even really friends, blah, blah. The co-parenting with my baby daddy. And now she's looking like the common demon's toot again, right? The common denominator in all of these fallouts. So what better way to try and pretend that you have grown and you have changed than to cry about something you did a year ago and go, oh my God, like the place I was in a year ago, I was pregnant when I did that. But girl, you just did this again months ago to Vee. And you just admitted that you did this months ago with Vee. So you're not pregnant now, I don't think, with your, what was it? Her tubes cut out. So what is your excuse this time? Why does it keep happening? Please save the crocodile tears. I'm not falling for it. The only people falling for it are her psycho fans and Becky, who needs to, you know, keep up that podcast with Kail in order to get out of that corporate job that I'm sure she wants to get out of and to continue funding these new projects that she's got going on in her life, such as the barn house or whatever it is that she and her wife are fixing up. And the two of them are going through IVF. I remember them talking about it on her podcast with Kail, that insurance was really expensive. I think those are Becky's motivations for playing dumb to Kail's shenanigans. But listen, girl, Becky, you got to do what you got to do. I can't even hate, you know, whatever. Just be smart and realize that what's going on here with all of these other people is the same thing that's going to happen to you. So get ready, stay ready. Like, it's coming, and you need to know how to navigate that moving forward. Kail already kind of low-key tried to ask Becky or ambush her on air to ask her to sign an NDA. Miss Transparent. And Becky said no. So at least she's got that base covered. This time, Becky, you were able to blab, and you will have your own podcast audience. And, you know, Vee can't blab about the truth about Kail because at the end of the day, she is stepmom to Kail's son. But you, Becky, do not have familial relations with her. Okay, so you can go ahead and spill that tea about the mess that she's going to do to you when it eventually happens. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Felt like you saying that you were taking on all of this stuff was because of me, and it was like I was causing a problem.
No, I don't think that's
like I was inconveniencing you by being pregnant, and so that's kind of how I know that's how I felt. It's not okay, it's not a justification for it, but I think that's like when you were like, I'm taking on solo episodes or I'm doing this, like I took it as an attack. Where like now, a year later, there was nothing wrong with what you said.
And I was like, I don't want it to come across as like hostile because I did not mean that by the message.
Yeah, she clearly said that.
Like, other than feeling like it was an attack because I was pregnant and you were taking on more work, I don't know why I would have that reaction. Like, I don't know what else was going on at that time other than, you know, obviously when the twins were born, I was going through it with Chris. Like, he was ruining, like, Chris was actively, like, that's the only thing that I can think of. I also don't want to blame him either. Like, it's just not.
But now looking back on that and after the conversation that we just had on Barely Famous about the fallout of baby mama.
And so what she's referring to is the fact that Chris leaked the pregnancy. He leaked when the babies were going to be born. He leaked that they were boy-girl twins. He leaked everything. And she was really upset about that, which is fair.
I think looking back at these dates, you were also navigating coming off of reality TV, trying to create a new life, trying to establish boundaries that you never had before, and also keeping a pregnancy of twins private.
I still just like all of it is not really like an excuse. And I just like, I'm sorry for talking to you like that.
I mean, you really didn't say anything other than about your uterus. And then I cried for a whole day and then it was fine.
I know, I'm crying.
I think
Don't cry.
Tissue, napkin.
You guys didn't have the greatest business communication at that time either. You guys have come a very long way in a year.
Well, and I think to circle back to, thank you. Look at Becky giving me a little nappy nap. When we just said that we are more like sisters, I think at different times of our relationship has been different. We were very direct with each other, but it doesn't always mean that it was nice.
No.
Does that make sense? So like we were being direct with each other, but it wasn't nice and it wasn't healthy. My response was not nice or healthy.
Did I even respond?
You responded in a novel. You said, I'm sorry you're upset. I didn't intend to make you upset. That was not my goal or intent at all, nor was I trying to make it about me at all. I just want resolution. No one to be.
Wow, another super nice, super calm message from Lindsie. I don't know what she's been doing. It's funny because when I listen to her on the podcast, like just like week to week, she sounds like a very like stick up her ass, like rude person. But behind the scenes, she is so nice and like she's very like clear in her communication style. She's very empathetic and stuff. Like she's being berated by her business partner who she brought into the podcasting world, and she's still responding with such kindness and warmth.
And for us to function without dealing with stupid stuff that's unnecessary, which if that's canceling the chat, I'm okay with it. I just know we will get blowback, which if we are collectively okay with taking that on, it's okay. I'm not saying anything about you being pregnant. I made the choice to take on those episodes and I'm happy to do so as you need the time off. I was just saying, come the new year, I was hoping everything could be figured out so that we could operate more smoothly. I'm not upset at all. And again, I'm sorry that you are so upset with me.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
out of line. Sorry.
And that's Coffee Convos.
Hey, it's
We should call it the Twisted Sisters podcast.
I'm dead.
Okay.
That's like really sad though.
But
Because if I did it once, how many times did I do it?
Girl, you've already said you did it to Vee as well, so now we've got 2 times at least, and then you've got no co-host on your Barely Famous. So unless you're doing it to yourself over there, we're gonna stick to 2 for now. But surely there have been more times than that.
I don't really think she's done it that much.
No, you get to
I
the
feel like
state,
she's being
you
really
both, like a very common, stop, Gray.
I know, stop.
You both go, you don't like having conflict in general in y'all's lives, and you don't like conflict with each other. So this era and previous was in the, I'm so fed up about A, B, and C, but I'm not saying anything. And then D would drop, and it was like, fuck it all to hell. Like, I don't care.
Well, I think different phases of Coffee Convos, different phases of Lindsie and Kail was like, we didn't know how each other would respond. Because we would go through different things at different times, sort of like the baby mamas thing. I didn't tell you about baby mamas because I didn't know how you were going to react to it. You probably had no idea I was going to respond like that at that time. Or maybe you did, and it was like, that's why you wrote, like, I don't know. Like, that's not okay for me to talk to people like that.
Well, it's okay, Kail. It was a year ago.
It doesn't matter when it was.
Coffee Convos podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Hey, Coffee Convos listeners, whether you
Okay, so we're gonna skip through all of these commercials, you guys. But yeah, so far, let me know in the chat how you feel about Kail just, taking away the moment from Lindsie and how like upset she was by crying as if she was the victim in all of this, And then now here's Lindsie, the person who was berated, being like, it's okay. It's not your fault. You were pregnant. You were this, you were that. Like, stop. Because Kail already explained that she did the same thing to Vee. So the pregnant excuse, in my opinion, goes out the window. That's just who she is. Like, this is just the crocodile tears are so calculated, in my opinion.
But we definitely, to speak to our relationship, there's definitely been times where someone has said something and the response is goodbye or fuck you or whatever. And then it's like, oh, okay, want to record tomorrow?
Which is probably not great, but it also is.
Like, I don't want to get real.
Yeah,
scared.
sure.
I don't know. I have not cried like this.
It's a release. You have a lot going on.
Do I though? Like I'm like, what in the fuck? Like I would not have remembered it if you didn't bring it up. What is Becky about to say?
Gia, come over here.
Here comes Becky to sweep things up.
I don't
Kiss
know
the
why
butt.
I'm so upset by that.
Oh my God.
Listen to me.
Kail.
I don't know.
Come kiss the butt that's about to pay your bills,
It's
Becky.
so
Here we
upsetting
go,
that
girl.
I treated you like that, and I didn't even I don't know why I did that.
Kail, you were a week away from giving birth.
I know, but that's not an excuse.
I think that
I
I'm
don't know
freshly
why
I'm freshly back in the world of Kail Lowry, but we've talked about this outside of conversations, and I've realized the past 5 years is insane, the amount that you've grown as a person. And I can only imagine, right? You're becoming a better version of yourself. So you're recognizing things that you've done in the past that your current self wouldn't do. And that's really hurtful.
The stuff that your current self wouldn't do. This is what I mean when I say you cannot have enablers around you. You will not be able to grow when you've got enablers like this around you, especially ones who are about to rely on you for income, okay? Because they're going to sit here and tell you, in 5 years, you've grown so much. The thing you did back there last year, that is something that your current self wouldn't do. Then why did she just do that last year? You know what I mean? then why did she just do that a couple months ago with her other podcast co-host? What do you mean this is not something her current self wouldn't do? How often are we changing our current self? Are you talking about the current self of today or the current self of the past year? Because the current self of the past year has done this twice, babe. I don't know why I keep saying babes. I think it's because I'm doing like a rewatch of Vanderpump Rules, and James does that a lot. And they're really centering on him in this current season that I'm watching. I don't know, but like you're talking about her current self wouldn't do this, but her current self did this twice. Like, am I in the Twilight Zone, you guys? Anyway, let's keep listening to see what else what else she's about to say. Guys, you need people who push you to grow, who tell you the truth. This is not it.
Right? It's really hurtful to recognize because you would never do that now.
Well, I hope I wouldn't.
But
Like I didn't realize that I was acting like that. Like I thought she was about to read me something that like she said that was sort of fucked up or like teetered the line of fucked up, and then I came back and said something fucked up. Like that's where I thought it was going. But hearing what Lindsie said 1st I was out of pocket.
Yeah, and that's on growth.
Is it though? Because
you're not that. You're like you are different now than you were then, and you're going to continue to grow because I know, but because of reactions like this.
But look how much you guys have grown. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys went.
That's all bye.
And I like that Kail calls it out by saying, yeah, that was only a year ago. What are you talking about? It's true, and good for her for calling that out. Like she knows that this person is not being honest with her.
You guys went from every 3 months, she can attest to it because I would say it. Every 3 months, you guys would have a blow up since about 2018. And it would be, we're quitting, I'm quitting, fuck this, I'm calling my lawyer, I don't care. 3 days later, we'd go through the whole fucking process of contacting everyone that need to be contacted. And then it's like, oh, check out, we're recording tomorrow.
And then it's like Kail and I are sneaky links and like we're talking behind everybody's back and we're like, we're actually just recording. Fuck them.
So there you go. They have tried to actually end this podcast. They've contacted lawyers. They've drafted agreements and everything like that. And this is going to come to the surprise of nobody who actually listens to this podcast like I do. Like a lot of times, similar to Baby Mama's No Drama. I remember when I started sensing the tension there, I would talk about it with my channel members like, hey, guys, like SOS, something is off with the dynamics. They're no longer having the conversations that they used to have. They're just diving right into the questions. And it was just so weird. Coffee Convos was similar. They've had those moments where they don't even have like the conversations or they're filming completely separate episodes, things like that. So now hearing that, like, we weren't just imagining things. We were not just dramatic or dramatizing things. Like they really were on the outs, like very, very often. And it's not surprising though. The fact that they've been able to stick together and to grow this podcast over the past several years and to create this chemistry despite having never met before even starting on this, is rather amazing in my opinion. And I do think that they should be proud of themselves for that. But like, it's interesting to find out what's been really happening behind the scenes. Okay, you guys, hang on one quick second. I'm getting a notification that okay. I think that's all cleared. Something about like storage. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's continue to listen.
And then we're against all y'all.
1000%. So like the dynamic has shifted. You guys know how to talk about business conversations now. You know each other better. You're still in chaos, but in a better place. And you're growing and it's different. You guys I don't think, let shit fester.
No, because who cares? Who cares?
You'll just say fuck you in the moment.
Yeah. Kail pisses me off. I'm just gonna be like, fuck you and go to my bunk bed.
Not the bunk bed, Lindsie actually slept in a bunk bed last night.
I was really hoping whenever I woke up this morning, I was like, can Kail and I have a sleepover in this bunk bed so that we can be like stepbrothers?
Could you imagine?
I do need a picture.
We do a stepbrothers TikTok in the bunk bedroom.
Yes. The one with the toothbrush with the bunk bed breaks. Can we afford that bunk bed?
You can. I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Tyler already broke a chair in this Airbnb. We'll replace it, by the way. So if the owners of this Airbnb are listening, we'll replace it.
It's just a Tyler.
Also, it's definitely broken before he sat on it, and we got the brunt of it, but we'll still make good.
The joke of it is I sat in it for hours the night before and it never broke.
Oh, so he did break it.
I'm not sure.
The way that it snapped so fast and so hard, I thought it was already broken.
The Lord was ready to take him the fuck out.
And
like, see ya.
This is the session of Coffee Convos therapy, and I'm now exiting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I just think that we have grown so much individually, but then also collectively as business women, but then collectively as friends. And I think that a lot of people don't realize what it's like doing business with friends that become family.
And also doing business with friends that become family, where our business is our personal life together.
And I think that you and I also care so much about the listenership of like the OG kitties that listen to this podcast. I think neither of us really wanted to walk away from that chat.
No, there are so many people that I don't even know I don't think that they know that we know who they are. And like, I pay attention to the names. I recognize the names. And I loved it. It felt like a community, not only to them, I think, but to me as well.
Which is a great segue into the next question that we were asked. We loved seeing so many of you kitties out on tour. It was so fun.
No, it was so fun. Heather Lohmeyer. Also, we need to get Ryan sticker. I keep saying we're going to add Ryan stickers. Like, we love Ryan sticker.
Right? Like the only man that listens to us, because no other men are signing up to do this every week.
I don't know. There might be I think there's a couple.
If you're a man, raise your hand.
They're just not admitting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They certainly are not admitting it. I probably have a couple exes that are listening.
All my exes are listening.
Any tour dates in 2025?
Yes.
It was so abrupt.
We had a whole knockdown, drag out fight last night. I'm just kidding. That's very dramatic.
Wait, you know what? Since we're having so many business chats and about our team, I feel like we should acknowledge the fact that we had a knockdown fucking drag out in this living room last night.
I also want to say that with that being said, it was still peaceful. Like, I love the feeling of who is a part of our team at this point.
Same. It's like, can you guys not?
The peanut gallery is talking shit about us at the counter.
Yeah. If it's going to be a live audience, we need y'all to stop. Thank you.
They're laughing. Do you want to share with the class what was being said?
Yeah.
That space during I didn't identify as a knockdown drag out, but
I said it was dramatic.
I was uncomfortable.
Well, you're going to be a part of all of this.
I know, that thought was going through my head.
I think, like, actually, on second thought,
the crazy thing is that
rethinking
the team that has been created and all the people that we surround ourselves with now, and some people can't be named for certain reasons, but I feel like it's just become like this big incestuous family.
Yeah. In
and
the best way, though.
It's like a family reunion where it's kind of like showing up to Christmas and you getting out all the shit that you hate about everybody that's there, you know? And then it's just over, and then we're making TikToks. Easy.
So there you go, you guys. That's all we get about what goes down behind the scenes between Kail and Lindsie Chrisley, and the way that they, fall out from time to time, and what kind of went down from their perspective between Kail and Vee as well. I'm really glad that I got to kind of, talk about this live as I listened to it alongside you guys. I hope you had a great time tuning in, sharing all of your own opinions as well. And I'm looking forward to reading them all. For those of you who were not able to catch this live, in the comment section down below. So don't be shy. I definitely do come into the comment section, read everything, and respond as much as possible. So I really do want to know everything that you guys have to say based off of that podcast episode. I do also want to flag for you guys that they did also film a Barely Famous podcast together. And I believe that Becky pops up in that one as well. And I will be recapping that as well. So stay tuned for that. Of course, per usual, the long full stream is going to be available for my channel members. So if you would like to have access to the full stream, do make sure to sign up for my channel membership. Otherwise, the clips of the more pertinent points that I think are going to appeal to the wider audience are still going to be public for free. So that is okay as well. So, just a little bit of an FYI there. Again, let me know what you think about everything in the comment section down below. If you joined me for the live premiere of this, thank you so much. It has been amazing chatting with you. It is always amazing chatting with you. That is why I try to do these premieres as often as possible. And I look forward to the next one. So see you guys very, very soon. Take good care of yourselves. Bye now. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed chatting with me here and listening.